Good morning all. So, just had a blood test. They put that sticker on you, the little plaster. Bloody becomes well itchy. Yeah, good morning. What a beautiful day. And as you can see, our meadow's been hay baled. And one there, and a few down the bottom, and there's more that way as well. Yesterday, Jamie the farmer came round and I flew the drone with the tractor. When he mowed it last week, I also flew the drone with the tractor. So he's loving it. So I sent him some of the footage this morning. He was like, oh my God, that's insane. But the speed he can mow and bale is ridiculous. Like modern high performance John Deere tractor with modern baling bit on the back and even the mower system and everything is bonkers. He was doing sort of 30 miles an hour in the field, which was absolutely crazy. Amazing to watch, and especially from the air. So, you know, it works really, really well. Today's video is about drone technology and where I've gone with it, because one, I'm doing car filming, so camera rig on the car, GoPros or whatever, action cameras on the cars, or on other cars whilst being followed or we're chasing or whatever. But also the drone comes into the situation. So the Mini 4 Pro I've had for a year or so, and absolutely brilliant. It works absolutely brilliantly. It's very small, very light, minimal restrictions, and it's pretty much flawless other than its speed. So sport mode 35 push, depending on where the wind's going, which direction the wind's going. So if you're flying with the wind, you're going to easily do that. If you're going into a headwind, obviously you might only have a top speed of maybe 20. So it does restrict you on the flying of vehicles, and also they have to drive much slower. If you're on a big A road, for example, or even just a fastish road that's straight, or even a bit of curvy stuff, to keep up with them, it's quite difficult. And you're up quite high. Sometimes you'll come, depending on the road, you might be able to come down. There might be a field like this where I can fly sideways. Obviously just limited on that drone because of the way it is. At the end of the day, it's tiny, it doesn't weigh much, so it's restricted. The other side of it is something like the Mavic 4 Pro, the new one. 3,200 quid for the Fly More combo with the decent controller and everything. It's a lot of money, and it's also big, but also, yeah, it's faster. You've got the 3 lenses on there, and yeah, it's a brilliant bit of kit, but it's also a lot of money. And one, it's a lot of money sitting up in the air, and two, it's just a big outlay, isn't it, at the end of the day? And obviously more restrictions due to the size of it and everything. The A2 license, obviously, it possibly going to be changing in January. We don't really know where it's going to go, so I haven't done mine yet, but I can still fly out in the countryside, away from people, and properties and things like that. So it's not really an issue at the moment, but I will be doing my A2 at some point. But in London, he recommended that I just wait for the moment and just see what changes, because he said the exam may get easier, all the restrictions will change, so you may not even need to possibly do it, but who knows. But anyway, so for the moment, I'm just holding back. But what I did buy was the absolute bargain drone that is just the best for the money, by far the best for the money. So obviously Mini 4 Pro, brilliant, minimal restrictions, you can pretty much fly at most places, and it is amazing. But the restrictions are, you haven't got a zoom, you have kind of got cropping, which is a bit annoying and it's not great. The lens takes good photos, and it's wide angle, and so it does do a very good job for what it does, and it allows me to do a lot of things. But I've just bought the Air 3S, which is an absolute weapon. It's bigger, obviously, not quite as big as the Mavic 4 Pro, but it's ridiculously cool. And having the 2 cameras on there, which gives me a 24 and a 70mm lens. Look up the specs if you want to know more about this drone, but it's an absolute weapon. It flies in the wind like it doesn't even care. I've already put this up. We had a couple of windy days, and I've already put it up, and it's just sitting up there, 100 meters up. Like, it just doesn't even doesn't even care. So yeah, it's absolute weapon. Having the 2 cameras on there is brilliant, because 70mm is actually quite a nice range. It means I can sit back from a subject quite nicely, quite a distance, and you'll see in some of the videos I'm going to put up in a minute, it just becomes much more usable having those 3 times zoom, but also, and it's actually quite usable, up to 9 times the zoom as well. So that's just using cropping power, but it does work, and it is quite usable. So yeah, batteries are quite a good size, but they're 129 quid each. So I bought the Fly More combo, but with the cheap controller, and the one with you have to plug your phone into. Is it the NC2 or something like that? And because I've got the Fly More combo with the Mini 4 Pro, which has the RC2 controller with the screen built in and everything, I can just use that. So for 1,085 quid, absolute bargain drone, absolute weapon. It comes with loads of propellers, not the generally have ever needed to replace any, and it's just brilliant. Image quality is very, very good. The flyability of it, it feels as any other drone does, the DJI line. But like I said, in the wind it works fine. At 30 miles an hour, it was no trouble whatsoever. It was just sat there perfectly steady, no drama, and you just feel confident with it. Where the Mini 4 Pro, there's certain times I just wouldn't have put it up, because I think it's just not going to give me stable footage. Because yes, it'll take photos quite easily, but when you're flying a smaller drone like the Mini 4 Pro, for example, and it's really windy and it gets a bit of that, your footage then suffers. You can see it, or if it's moving left and right, but it's normally up and down, so it causes a lot of trouble so yeah, for photos it's not so bad, but if you're trying to film and it's too windy, I just don't bother. But now this thing, it just doesn't, it's just a beast, absolute weapon. And as other YouTubers and everything have said, and reviewers and everything like that, it's almost the perfect drone. It just doesn't have the variable aperture on the cameras. It's not the end of the world, because we have ND filters, and it came with, so for £1,085 it came with, like I say, the cheaper controller, which is just brand new in the box, never going to be used unless I desperately need to, the 3 batteries, the fast charger, the ND filter kit that comes with it as well, obviously the drone, a load of propellers, the bag as well, which is actually quite nice. And yeah, it's just, for the money, an absolute bargain. Keeping the Mini 4 Pro, obviously, because depending on what I'm doing and where I need to be, if I'm out here, we haven't got a problem. I can fly this with no real drama. I've only flown it, I've done 4 batteries worth of flying, and it's done just brilliant. Real pleasure to fly. And actually, no, with the Mini 4 Pro, it has a much higher pitch of the blades, generally quieter because it's smaller, but there's a higher pitch. So the birds, if you get any birds like seagulls or whatever, will probably bomb it. But I haven't had any interest with this one. It's bigger, so I don't think they even worry about it. Wildlife, and generally if there's wildlife, I wouldn't go too close, but that's the benefit of this zoom lens. You can get in closer, and if it's for social media, up to 9 times zoom looks fine, absolutely fine for social media stuff. So on YouTube probably won't really use it that much, but I'll put some in the video, and you'll be able to see what the difference really is. But it's a thing, it's incredible. One of the best things I've ever purchased, I think, and I thought the Mini 4 Pro was one of the best things I ever purchased. So yeah, there we go. It's also got the quick access, so you just push the button once on the back, and you don't even have to have the cover off or anything like that, and you can then plug it in, do wireless transfers and stuff without even having to take the covers off or whatever. So awesome bit of kit, awesome bit of kit. So anyway, let's go and have a look at some of the videos I've done, and I'll voice over and tell you what I was doing and why I was doing it, and you'll be able to see the difference between the Mini 4 Pro and this. Anyway, see you shortly. Right, here we go. So Jamie knew I was there on both occasions, so he was totally involved. The Mini 4 Pro, I made one mistake, and mainly because he just turns up and I happen to be at home, so I quickly grab the drone and get it up. And he's done 12 acres in around about 15 minutes. so you don't have very long to set anything up, get out and about. So I just left the camera in auto, and you'll see the exposure change a few times, which obviously in the real world I would be locking in to a manual, so the exposure won't change. So that was one issue. I didn't put any ND filters on, mainly because I lost my DJI Mini 4 ones. I don't know where I've lost those. So I thought there's no point putting them on the Air 3S either. So even though I've got a set, so I just kept it as was. I have color graded a bit, and you might be able to see the difference in the two cameras there. But just so you can see the exposure changing. So now the sky is relatively well exposed and the ground is a bit darker. But anyway, he's mowing, I'm just following him, and as every now and again you see these big dust explosions. That's either dry mud that's been pushed up by moles, or just bits where it's just an undulating bit of ground, so he's just topped it basically. But there you go, flying sideways. Even with the Mini 4 Pro, I have to stay a little bit of a distance away, but that's my angle of view, and it's quite difficult to stay with a moving vehicle fully manually. So I'm flying manually. I'm not relying on spotlight or auto track or anything like that. I'm controlling the camera, angle, view, zoom, everything like that, and just doing it fully manually. We're onto the Air 3S now, as you can see, and there is quite a jump in quality. The weather's different, so the light's different, but as you can see there, again in auto the exposure changes. But doing this at 3x zoom and actually going sideways uphill, so I'm actually lifting the drone at the same time a little bit and following him. I think he's doing somewhere between 20 and 25 miles an hour whilst bailing. I didn't actually look at the how fast I was actually going, but there you go. He that machine is an absolute beast. How quickly they can work now, farmers, which is obviously time is money. So, but it's really interesting to see, and he's seen the footage, and you know, he likes to see stuff like that when you're working. It's kind of cool, isn't it? So there we go. But Air 3S, game changer, faster, more manoeuvrable, better cameras. Obviously the 3x zoom is very, very helpful, because at the moment I'm at 3x zoom and quite a distance away, so I'm a lot safer and less likely to hit a tractor or get it run over or anything like that. So it means I can get a different angle of view, and you know, I'm a decent distance away, which obviously helps everyone in the long run, because that way he's not necessarily going to be conscious of it, as in he's not going to see it as a danger, and I'm just further away. But as you can see, the zoom is very, very useful. And you know, these are quite big machines, so you know I can still be quite a distance away and actually zoom into them. So again, now I come down and I start flying backwards diagonally, and all that dust and everything just adds to the footage. It's really, really cool. Love the shadows, hence why I'm keeping the shadows. And in fact, I zoom out slightly now to try and get them all in. I'm trying to keep with him. This is the challenge. I love this. This is the challenge of flying. It's not just about flying the drone around. It's trying to stay with your target and actually just capturing something really cool. And that's how far away I was. But yeah, let me know what you think. Have you got one? Are you thinking about buying one? Yeah, let me know. Please click the subscribe button or notification bell as well. But I'm absolutely loving it. I'll catch you soon for another video.